All right, guys. So today we did a podcast on Hawaii culture. The intention was Hawaii customs and how someone from the mainland might experience Hawaii and all of the cultures that got into that melting pot to create that experience, and our local people. Like the last video we put out, people are like, hey, I grew up Eva Beach from 71 to 74, and then from 82 I grew up in Hawaiian Islands. And we just want to have this sort of celebratory conversation, point out the nuances. It's all respectful. It's just all aloha. Let's do it!
Ew, how dare you say that to me?
You disrespecting me?
No, yes and no.
It took me a long time to like assimilate and to like for people to be my friend.
I remember the one guy, how long you work over here? 1 year, you don't know nothing.
And he probably never seen a dude kiss his girlfriend on the
Yeah.
cheek.
Bro, I'm not conforming to them. Oh! How might that affect someone outsider, like from the mainland coming here?
I don't know if it's a Hawaii thing or an American thing.
Because this is a real estate channel, go to coreteamhawaii.com for all your real estate needs, and check out this listing in Makakilo that's just coming up. It's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath. It's going to be dropping the same day that this video drops. We're just going to give a little sneak peek, and then we actually have a video coming in the coming weeks on that property specifically. So I wanted to have a conversation today about Hawaii etiquette, and we have a unique mix here, right? Because you got born on the mainland, my whole redneck side of my family, and my Hawaiian Japanese side of my family, and then you got Kenji, born and raised, but black Japanese, but lived in Japan. That's the other thing. It's like
8 years, yeah.
the Japanese hits hard in the black Japanese zone, especially you compared to your brother, because you learned to speak Japanese and lived in Japan. Your family's Japanese. You speak Japanese at home primarily, right?
Try to, but I'm the one slipping a lot of times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's just easier to say it in English.
Yeah.
So.
How is Hawaii different from the mainland in your perspective? Because you lived there. And if you haven't seen
Where'd
the...
you, Portland? You lived in Portland?
I lived in Oregon for 5 years. So when I left Hawaii, I went to Oregon first
For school.
5 years, yeah.
Yeah.
And then I went to Japan for 8 and then came back and been here since, 16? So
So it's good to give that context. So raised deep leeward, might I say west side almost?
some people say west.
Some people say west side.
Leeward, yeah.
Raised pretty much west side, and then yeah, it's good to give that background. So back home, you're still kind of immersed in Japanese customs. You know, you told me, like the other day, you told me about certain things you might say when you leave the house, or there's just certain etiquette that you're even deeper, like Eastern, in your house. You know.
First of all, like if you don't know, Hawaii and Japan are like best friends. Like they're, people from Japan want to go to Hawaii. People from Hawaii want to go to Japan.
Everybody, even
Especially
non-Japanese, want to travel to Japan.
Like there's this kind of not mysticism, but like this. It's so close, yeah. Like if you grow up or if you live in Hawaii, you're gonna have the influence from Asia. There's an Asian influence
Eastern
here.
influence, yeah.
And you guys talked about it a lot on the channel about like diversity.
Yeah.
It's like super Asian skewed. Like it's a very diverse.
We have
Asian,
any kind of Asian.
right?
Yeah.
But not as much diversity as you might see in Pennsylvania
Or
or
like
somewhere else.
New
Pennsylvania.
I don't know why I went Pennsylvania.
It's probably more diverse than that.
Let's say New
I was just
York or
watching-
San
New York,
Francisco.
yeah. New York.
LA,
East Coast.
LA,
Yeah.
New York, San
LA,
Francisco.
New York,
I don't know
yeah.
why I went
Pennsylvania.
So he also not from the mainland,
Yeah, I'm
so
not.
obviously.
Amongst us three, because East Coast, or I don't know if you call Florida the South.
South.
Pensacola especially.
Where I was in Florida, lower Alabama was the South.
So we kind of like span the map, of America. So you bring that, then we bring what we bring, and then I got a little experience to tie it all together from Asia, Japan specifically.
I want to prompt you to bring in some deeper things, but let's give the context on Mahe first. So born and raised.
Born and raised here. Mom 100% Japanese. Dad like local brother. But my mom's like second generation Japanese. So it's not like she was like, she grew up hearing only Japanese from her mom, but they never spoke it. Like her mom spoke Japanese, understood English.
Yeah.
And then the girls all understood Japanese, but spoke English.
Like my mom.
Yeah.
Like
right.
all of our generations.
Like my dad?
moms. Yeah.
When my dad was sick, end of life, he's saying things in Japanese, and I was like, what? It showed me how deep his like Japanese upbringing was. Yeah. And by the way, I want to pause. when you look at the rule on real estate and steering, because after all, this is a real estate channel, and it's like telling you to move to a neighborhood based on it's really built on redlining and all that. We aren't steering. We're having a cultural conversation about Hawaii. So just want to set that clear. You live anywhere you like live, no matter who's living there, live there, right?
Yeah.
So I just want to make that clear. This is a cultural conversation. But sorry, so born Japanese mom, Hawaiian dad.
Japanese mom, local AF dad.
Yeah.
You know, so like a moke and a Japanese, pretty much.
A moke is like how do you
I
say?
like aggressively local, like super local.
Yeah. In the Pigeon to the Max books, because when I was when I was like 9 years old, we'd have those in Florida.
What?
Yeah, in Florida.
Okay.
Well, your dad gave
My dad, because
yeah.
the family sent them or whatever.
Yeah.
And a moke with like shirt off, you know.
That's my dad.
Shirt off, slippers maybe.
Well, you know, my grandpa on my mom's side was just, you know, like Okinawan, not like Japanese. I don't know. Like, there's a difference.
That's a Hawaii thing too.
That's
We'll
Yeah.
get into that.
To someone in the mainland, they don't know that
Yeah.
difference,
Yeah.
right?
But, you know, Okinawan grandpa, Japanese grandma from Japan, like all the Japanese stuff, like it's like every house does that anyway. Like it's not even Japanese households and everybody does those things anyway. It's just like plantation stuff. It's just stuff that we all do now. Like taking off your slippers, like that's not just Japanese houses
Well,
do that here.
I always think, and maybe it's my bias because I was raised with a dad with Japanese influence. I always think that our experience is heavily Japanese. Like these things, such
Yeah.
as cook rice. Like Filipino plantation
Oh, yeah,
workers,
I'm
they
sure
ate
they-
rice.
yeah.
But you associate it with like this Japanese influence. right?
Yeah.
No, they just got the best rice cookers. That's why.
Yeah.
We
So
do have the
Soju
best-
Sushi.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
We represent.
What's the one where you don't get to order? They tell you
Omakase.
Omakase.
Yeah. I want to go.
There's a few good ones.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
You don't, oh, well,
You
you
like
don't even
ordering, huh?
seafood.
I don't really like seafood that much. And don't tell me, I tell
Oh
you.
my God.
Yeah.
You don't know. You're not going to give me that.
Yeah. I pay. That's my main
Take
answer.
the- yeah. I was about to-
But what else about your background? But you know, when we started working together, the vetting process, the feeling out process I was like, how like ku'e are you?
So
know?
that's the thing. Like I grew up like very local and like, yeah, plenty Japanese influence too. But like my dad, like I grew up like with a dad who went fishing and diving and like very like old Hawaii, not necessarily like, and when I say old Hawaii, I mean like our parents' generation, old Hawaii. He wasn't part of like PKO or like Protect Kaho'olawe or anything like that. They were just like local brothers who, you know, didn't necessarily speak Hawaiian either at that time.
Right.
That generation didn't, but they did like really local things. Like
Right.
they pick ogo, they pick seaweed, you know, they diving for lobster.
Yeah,
Every time we go to the beach, my dad comes out the water with some like octopus or something on him. Like we didn't go to the ocean without it being like a food source. Like I remember being a little kid. Today, I would never do this today. My kids could never.
Well,
What?
My dad would go dive and we'd be like on the beach or whatever. And he'd be like, I'm bringing dinner, don't eat. I'm like, now I think I'm like, what would I have eaten? It was like urchin, like break vana off the rocks kind.
So he was saying, don't eat opihi while he's out there?
Yeah, don't eat. They just leave us on the
Pee, pee,
rocks,
pee?
you know?
Yeah.
And he came and my brothers were telling me that like my face would be like stained orange because I would eat like
So much.
hauki uki and like you have like purple and
What
orange.
is
all over
hauki
it.
uki?
The like purple one that looks like flour.
yeah.
You know?
See, Vana.
Yeah, it's not vana, but it's like a round dome thing that has like purple flower petals.
It looks
around
like a soft
soft
vana, but it's not like you're not.
It's not
super
pokey. It's like
spiky.
round.
It's
Yeah.
like a brain.
It looks like an
kinda-
armadillo shell kind of.
Yeah.
You
with,
would
like-
eat that?
Yeah, you
while
can-
your dad's out?
Yes.
Oh.
So he'd be like, "Don't eat," and then he'd come, "Did you eat?" And I'd be like stained.
No.
I'd be like, "No."
no.
Yeah, like, "No, I didn't."
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that like local, like we grew up like that, you know,
Super
like
local. And you went to Kamehameha.
not till later, but that memory is from like being a little kid and like for me, local memories are like my uncles, my dad, they went diving, they come home. My mom and all the aunties are like cleaning fish, and then uncles are like frying it in the wok and doing whatever. And then we have like a big table like this. Usually it was round though. We had like a big round wood table, and it would be all the stations. It would be like akule here, manini here, you know, like a can of corned beef raw here, onion, Hawaiian salt, sardines and onions and vinegar, and then we just like
Oh,
rotate.
miss me with that one.
I know you wouldn't,
No,
but,
I wouldn't.
but we just like wrote, you know, the kids and like. Being a little kid, like 3 years old, I knew how to eat fried fish without getting no bones stuck in my throat. You know what I mean? Like we grew up knowing how to do that kind.
Yeah. I want to just pause and detract a little bit, digress. Local people, why are you gonna fry fish in the wok? Though it's not efficient. You know what I mean? It's hard. All the surface area you get the fit. Like in the South, they did that. There's a bucket of grease. Maybe use less grease. That's why.
Yeah, maybe.
Use less oil.
Because it's like this, and instead of just like a this.
Yeah. Because like the catfish fryer, that's it.
Is it? You know,
that's all.
It's because that's the most conducive for cooking on your propane outside.
I was gonna say it's got to be outside. That's why.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
for
like
outside.
that's the most quick like outside setup.
Yeah.
Just with the fire.
Yeah.
roaring
Leave us a
underneath.
comment on that.
Yeah.
Clip that. But anyway, so that's a great painting of everyone's background. Mine's, deep South, parents, or mom's side. I mean, South. I mean, my grandpa raced early NASCAR.
Oh.
He got in trouble for, I think, running moonshine. Like, he was a Florida gangster, a feared, respected man. Like, and that's my mom's side. And then my dad, kind of.
That's such an interesting like worlds collide. Like
and my
how
dad,
those
Waikiki
two
Beach
ever
boy,
would have gotten together.
But scrapper, and he went there and they actually put a hit out on him in the late 60s, I think is when he got there. Early 70s they like put a hit out on him. They like thought he was too dark. And my dad was like, he wanted the smoke, and so anyway, so I have that background, and I moved to Hawaii, and I go through this like I want to be as Hawaiian as possible. This is my identity. And I was a young kid, and then by the time I was here for like a year or something, everyone forgot. Like I remember,
from the
like,
mainland. Did you get teased when you first came home? Like
barely. Like at first, I always said the girl Jolani. Shout outs to Jolani. She's a good surfer from Eva Beach, but I remember her teasing me like, "Yeah, you look like us. You're not like us."
Yeah.
But by the end of that school year, it wasn't a thing, and then by high school, it wasn't a thing, and then by like even deep in high school, I might bring it up, and so I'm like, "Oh, I forgot you was from the mainland, huh?" And so, but I used to care. I don't care, but
I think as the age you were, you probably cared a lot too.
Oh, it mattered a lot.
Yeah, you
I
just
care
a lot
as a
at that
teenage
age about
boy,
things,
yeah.
I mean, some of the relationship I was in, and I super Hawaiian, but so that's the background. But getting to it, how do you feel like these different cultures have shaped Hawaii and the culture that people experience, just local people that we experience and that a newcomer would experience? Like, what are some shocks? Because you see it all the way from Japan.
Yeah.
Like you were saying at a wedding in Japan, the family will sit in the back.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So
whereas like the barbaric American sits in front of all of their guests.
I don't know if you guys saw Shogun, but like,
my words.
You know what I mean? Shogun's kind of like an exaggeration of that because it's like centuries ago. But like some of that gives you an idea of like the thinking.
Like how.
Just this outsider who...
He wasn't American. What was he?
No, he was
Portuguese
or no?
No, not Portuguese. Anyway.
In Hawaii, we're America, right?
Yeah.
So we're like, besides Guam, the closest America that people in Japan can tap into.
Yeah.
And so there's a weather advantage as well because it's always T-shirt weather, which a lot of people from the mainland come to Hawaii for as well.
Right.
So there's that common thing, but then it's more like, to be honest, I think it's a deep cultural individualistic versus a communal aspect.
Yeah.
And everything stems...
Us versus I.
Everything stems from that. It's even embedded in the language. So like pronouns, not like how we use pronoun. The word pronoun today means different, but like the literal grammatical pronouns.
Part of speech pronoun.
Think about how many pronouns are in... We don't think about it because we're native speakers. We don't think about it, but like...
It's too many.
I thought about it
so many compared to every other language.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm teaching the language to these kids in Japan.
Like so many as it's like hard to learn.
Pronouns.
Like how English as a second language is just like ridiculous for them to learn because they're like, why do you have so many words to describe?
What do you mean?
People?
Like she, her,
like
all of them. So
because like the feminine pronoun or the
comparatively speaking, there's this many pronouns in English to this many in Japanese. So if you're doing this, like I want to learn that language,
then it's like
you're learning
okay,
like not just, you can't separate language and culture either. So you have to learn not only the language and pieces and when to use it, but like the culture behind it, the nuances that come with. If I say like my kids,
is that a pronoun? Or
think about if you heard your partner say my kids to somebody versus our kids.
Yeah.
You know that nuance right there?
Yeah.
but
as
times
a
50
person
because
with a step parent involved,
you know what I mean?
definitely you notice the nuance.
The way we use that little language, 2-word letter, 3-word letters, like they mean a lot. And so to understand that from a culture and language where I would say the difference in pronouns, you would just talk in verbs. Almost. You'd almost just talk in verbs. So then the context, your contextual understanding, situational awareness has to go up for an English speaker learning Japanese because so much is unsaid.
Yeah.
So that already is a huge hurdle because if you're coming to Hawaii, it's America and they speak English, but it's so influenced by Asian culture that it's a nice in between.
Yeah.
That you can't get if you go to Florida, Pennsylvania, you know, like where somewhere else where it's like super, I would say, I don't know, super American is the right word, but you know what I mean? Like, so it's a nice middle ground where I can get both the American culture, but it's not watered down, but it's like Asian enough of American.
Yeah.
Like I would be interested to know like what a Japanese person's experience in Hawaii versus like the Bay.
Yeah.
Because, you know, there's a lot of Asians in the Bay too. So it's like, but the Asians who grew up in the Bay is way more Americanized than the Asians who grew up like us here and our parents who grew up here.
Yeah.
So you're going to, the etiquette about, I mean, see, I didn't even talk about any like specifics, but like it just comes from this language, culture, root and base.
Us versus I.
And then you pile everything on top.
So you said in Japan, it's the nail that sticks up gets hammered.
Yeah.
That's a saying. So you don't want to stick out. You don't want to be an individual.
You don't raise your hand with your ideas in class, which for better or worse.
That's crazy.
For better or worse.
That's crazy.
Like, it's not as encouraged to be like here, hey, Timmy, sure, what you think? And like, we can talk about the symptoms, right? But we can talk about like the root too. So depending where we want to go, but like.
What are the symptoms? The symptoms are, you can understand though, like taking food to a party.
Great.
Or.
Yeah. Food. Let's just food alone. We could do 18 podcasts on just food, because remember we were talking like the chopsticks. If you get disposable chopsticks, like people in Hawaii,
local people, tell me what you do when you get disposable chopsticks.
You know what I mean? You'd never do that in Japan.
Yeah.
But
you do this
for some reason, or But that's like, now I'm thinking Shogun, like barbaric. What are you? What? You know, like what are you doing?
Yeah.
That's like, you know, I see those memes of like, I'm with my Italian partner and they break the spaghetti when they put in a pot.
Yeah.
It's like, don't do that.
And the boyfriend's like, go there to the.
It's kind of like that level of like, what is going on? Like, first of all, thanks that there are these utensils that we're used to and we like to use.
Yeah.
But what are you doing with them?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, dude, bringing food to a party, that part's kind of the same.
In Japan, is it like Hawaii where you have to, there has to be too much food?
That's kind of a weird one, but like you bring food, first of all. Like you don't show up empty-handed.
Yeah.
You never show up empty-handed.
Like that's the same.
Yeah.
And if you bring, it's for the community, not for you.
And if you bring, there's a couple. I'll give you some examples, like where me and my wife, who's Japanese, this is in Hawaii, like potluck barbecue, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everybody brings something, kind of.
Yeah.
And that tells a lot about who's there, right? Like, what do you bring?
Oh my God.
Did you stop at 7-Eleven and just spend $20 on
potato
random
salad
stuff
with raisins?
Yeah, I mean, Doritos, really?
Yeah. Even just the kind
Paper
of foods
plates
that exist at the potluck are like, you can tell where everybody is from.
Fruit salad.
Don't you ever
Just
bring something
all
open
etiquette.
either?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I've seen that happen. And we're like, oh,
I'll tell
you
you about
already
the time-
ate some of that in the car.
I'll tell you about this, what Kyle did to me, how he set me up for failure. And I was like begging him, just let me bring some like hot dogs or some shit.
Oh, he told you don't bring anything.
No.
Hey, keep it suitable for work.
Hot dogs or some whatever. It's a Super Bowl party on base.
Oh, you told me about this, yeah.
And I'm like, no.
And they knew who you were from the channel.
I don't know if they knew who I was, but
On base.
Correct.
Super Bowl party.
With all military families on base. Okay. I'm new to the military spouse life, right? I'm like, just let me bring some pigs in a blanket, or like, let me bring some some dip or something.
Yeah.
He wants a sushi big. I'm like, babe, nobody is gonna eat a sushi big. Like, nobody will eat that. And when we get there, it's like bean dip, like 10 different kind cheese, burgers, hot dogs. I'm like,
Did anyone eat it?
Kyle ate it.
Only Kyle.
He ate like half the pan. I was like, you better eat it.
yeah.
But I was just like, how could you do this to me? And,
Yeah.
and I gave it to him. They're like, oh, thank you.
They're like,
I just put it in the weird section with
Yeah.
Did they wear shoes in the house?
yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. Like, just
Well, hygiene. We literally did a podcast on that with Aiden.
We did on
We
the
talk
other,
about
on the
hiding,
other
you know what I
channel,
mean?
which I'll steal this for that channel too. But so
Food.
bringing food in Japan, is it for everyone?
Yeah, of course. You get an idea. So first of all, let's get to the invitations. How do you treat invitations?
to
What do you
me,
mean?
it's with much difficulty. Like
Yeah.
if I invite so and so also gotta come. If I do
As the
that
inviter or the receiver?
as the inviter, like if I'm
Okay.
like, okay, if I have to invite, if I invite that neighbor, all the neighbors have to be invited. If I invite that cousin, that whole side of the family has to be invited.
Sounds like a wedding.
Correct. Yeah. It's just,
Okay.
and that's just how
Consider
it is here.
it. You're managing.
And
Okay.
you were saying how there's that thing in Japan where every year you send cards
Yeah.
to people that.
The Nengajo is an end of the year tradition. I don't even know if it's etiquette. Is it an etiquette or tradition? But end of the year, you write these greetings to families. And if you're now like
Like a
60
newsletter or
60 years
something?
old, imagine how much your Nengajo list has grown,
Yeah.
especially if you do business.
Yeah.
So now you're doing all your clients. You know what I mean? Like your
Yeah.
past clients and stuff.
Yeah.
So
Can it
It'd be
just be
rude
one?
not to.
so there was when I was living there was a big switch in like the post office would allow, or they did like a batch printing essentially.
Yeah.
So now all that I have to do is order it at the post office
Sign.
with my message
Yeah.
and names, like a list of names.
Yeah.
And all the kanji or the characters of the names have to be correct. They print it out and I just sign. And then give it back to them. They'll send it.
Yeah.
So like that was happening when I was living there. This is over like 15 years ago maybe. And I remember thinking like, oh, if there's a business that's sustained by it, then it's legit. Like
Yeah.
it tells you there's that much demand for it.
Yeah.
And it's not the same as like I think now, at least in Hawaii, my friends in Hawaii, I kind of get these Nengajo. We don't call it Nengajos, but it's like season's greetings.
Yeah.
Somewhere in December, like,
Yeah.
hey, friend I went to college with,
Yeah.
you asked me
Yeah,
for your
yeah,
address.
yeah.
I know what you're gonna send me is this photo of you and your family,
Yeah.
and maybe a
Right,
little
right.
synopsis of the year.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So I'm like, oh, this is it. This
Yeah.
is what
But people on the mainland do that too.
But it's not to like every human you've ever known and it's like,
the invitation part, like you
Yeah.
said. If I give you one, I gotta
But I
give you
do
one.
but I do feel like on the mainland, I don't mean to offend, but I feel like on the mainland it could be a little more celebratory of my family rather than I'm doing this to respect your family, right?
yeah.
Like you flexing on people? Is that what you're trying
Yeah,
to say?
little flex. Just show proud. Raise your hand in
Yeah.
class.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. I mean,
My friend's mom from high school, I just stopped getting, probably because I moved like 20 times since then. But she'd always send like a newsletter, and it'd be like everything, like each
A
of
newsletter?
the kids, literally a newsletter. It'd be
Right.
like a card with a picture, and then like also a newsletter inside that had like
Oh.
a small blurb about each of the kids and what
Right,
their
right.
accomplishments are that they've gotten through that
Yeah.
year, or
Right.
she's engaged now, or blah blah blah. Like I'm like, damn.
She no more Facebook.
Oh no, that's where the address was attained
Yeah,
on Facebook. Yeah. Yeah.
But the experience of being here, and because I've seen it, and I always say this, but I've seen local guys in Waikiki scrapping military guys. My dad had a famous story about it. And I thought he was lying, and then I met this other old guy, and he's like, "Your dad ever told you about the time we lick all the Marines?" You know, and it was word for word like the exact same story. I was like, "Oh my God, it's a legend." But and I've seen military people or just mainland people be like, the Hawaiians were so mean, they're so rude, and by Hawaiians they don't mean just
know.
local people,
Yeah, just
but
locals. Yeah.
and I just see the other two sides because I am the both sides, right? I've seen both sides, and I retain qualities from both sides, and they just don't get each other a lot
Correct.
of times. Now, sometimes they suck. Sometimes there's local people that suck,
Yeah.
and there's mainland people that suck, and that's why their experience was bad, or they're giving others bad experiences. But sometimes they just don't see each other.
Yeah. And how it's very hard to, because we are so dramatically different culturally. Like you just come from very different walks of life. So especially when you're thrown into it, and maybe you did not get you didn't get sent here because you wanted to, like you just came here and you just have to be here. It's not like you're coming with
Especially
like this
military.
Yeah, it's not like you're coming with this like open mindset of like, oh, I'm like can't
I
wait to be
long
there.
for the
I
islands.
can't wait to
Yeah,
learn
yeah.
about it. Like you're here for work.
I didn't even want to get stationed there. I was trying to go to Kentucky.
Kyle was like third on his list.
Yeah.
We talk about that all the time. He's like, I had no concept of Hawaii. Like I didn't put it on my list because I mean it was just like that's just where people go to vacation, and that's like they don't know anything about it. And when you come with that perception of like, oh, okay, well I'm gonna be in Hawaii for 4 years, it's not like you come here with like, let me learn about everything. Like sometimes you live on base and you hang out with your military friends and that's it. Like,
But then when you go to Waikiki with your customs,
Yeah.
then there's other local guys there ready to fight, you know? And so, yeah, I feel like sometimes the two sides just don't see one another. And I look at it, I'm like, bro, you like to hunt and fish and listen to some country music.
Yeah.
You don't know that Maori took that song from the guy,
yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
you thought
country
that was an
music.
original?
Yeah, you thought that was.
Oh yeah.
And you hunt and fish and drive a lifted truck too. And so if you
And
guys
they're so same in
if
so
you
many
could
ways.
understand each other sometimes, not all
Yeah.
the time, but sometimes,
Yeah.
you know.
The big thing too is like respect is so subjective. So a lot of times you'll see people come here and they think
They're being respectful.
they're being respectful,
Yeah.
or they think that someone has slighted them, but really someone else is respecting or being neutral.
What would be an example? What would be an example
Oh,
of
like
a
if you-
mainland person thinking they're being respectful when they're actually not?
Or how about when not even just trying to be respectful, just like existing and not thinking they're being disrespectful.
That's easier.
That's probably more common.
yeah. Like,
That's easier.
you
What's a
know,
good example?
let's say
Yeah.
I take Kyle to a party. He's only been here 4 months. He doesn't know that when you leave, you have to say bye to every single person that you don't know.
We talked.
Yeah.
We've
You
talked
know?
Yeah,
about
that's a
this.
big one.
And so they're just like,
Yeah.
okay, do like a group wave and we're out of here. Like, that's not him trying to exit and just like slight everybody on the way out. That's like, hey, where I come from, I don't have to tell 100 people goodbye that I just met 10 minutes ago. Like,
Yeah.
That's
we
probably
can
the-
just leave.
That's probably
you
the
know?
best one.
And that's like
yeah.
it's not purposefully rude. It's just like they didn't culturally learn growing up
Well,
that you got to go out of your way
Also,
to do that.
like if we men, if we see each other,
Oh,
there's a certain handshake in Hawaii that's like your standard issue handshake. Of
Yeah.
course, there's gonna be variations.
Standard
but like,
issue.
Yeah.
standard
That's
issue
the stock.
handshake, right? And already body language comes into play because you can tell, okay, this guy's new or not.
Yeah.
But in the overarching theme of greetings,
Yeah.
where you can disrespect someone unknowingly.
Yeah.
Like, first of all, greet. So even if you don't know the standard handshake,
Yeah.
and you don't know how to do this, bop, bop, bring it in like 3-step, but you did something weird.
Bing, bop,
Bip,
bop.
bop. Yeah, if you fumble it, but you went for it,
Yeah.
that's even better.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
going to give you extra cred on it
Yeah,
in
yeah,
that
yeah.
party
Trying.
or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, hey, it's funny. We got a joke. We can give this guy some, we can tease
Yeah.
him a little, but like,
Yeah.
that's a sign of affection. So like you're in now.
Yeah.
Versus, I don't want to fumble, and I'm not
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even gonna shake anybody's hand. Be a little apprehensive. Now people might think, why is this guy acting weird?
Mm-hmm.
Why is he like quiet? Like, well, your boyfriend, he's so quiet.
Yeah.
And then the kissing thing for women. That's something I did in Oregon when I first went. So I'm like going America to America, but it's Hawaii to Oregon.
Yeah.
And I'm a Hawaii boy in Oregon. I'm in a group setting and I'm meeting people and I'm shaking the dude's hands.
Yeah.
And then when I get to the girl, I kiss her on the cheek. And I remember the guy next to her, I was like, oh shit, that's probably like, they're probably a couple.
Yeah.
And he probably never seen a dude
Yeah.
just kiss his girlfriend on the
Yeah.
cheek, like
Yeah.
right off the bat. And so
I used to do that on purpose.
after I kissed him,
I used to do
I was like, oh, like some people like, you disrespecting me? But
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm respecting.
Yeah. I grew up
That's
that's
doing.
how I show my respect.
And then I think COVID messed that all up because now
yeah.
even locals don't even.
Yeah.
That was a weird year
That was
because
weird.
I'm like, do we kiss
Yeah.
on the?
No,
And when I say,
well, this is when does it come from Hawaiian culture and when does it Polynesian culture and when does it come from Asian culture?
See what
Because
in Japan
the kiss on
do
the
they,
cheek.
Do
No.
they hug?
So-
No, I would say no.
the kiss on the cheek is Hawaiian, and
Yeah.
so there's
Yeah,
certain
yeah.
things like the giving culture.
Yeah.
Polynesian and Hawaiian is giving because it's giving in this certain sort of. I don't want to say. The first thing isn't unselfish. The first thing is just giving.
Yeah.
But in Japan, the first thing might be more unselfish. It happens to be giving. You know what I mean?
So in terms of like kissing on the cheek, like
So kissing on the cheek came from Polynesia.
and
So when the mask thing came, the Asians was like, bro, we've been had masks.
we've been doing this.
For
sure.
In fact, I've been wanting to wear it.
Yeah,
You know.
I already have a surplus.
Yeah. You know, see my mom driving with the visor, gloves, and mask and shades already. That's my mom.
Yeah.
And so I can just go to her house. We got stock. And so the Asians are, okay, no need kissing the cheek. That's fine.
But
But I still going omiyagi when travel opens up.
I couldn't like gifting. That's another thing we talked about. But like on the greeting tip, Hawaii, Oregon, Japan, right? Very different. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of like got Americanized more in Oregon before I went to Japan. So by the time I was in
So
Japan,
you were like
Set back.
desensitized already?
I wasn't like.
Yeah.
Like how I described earlier,
Yeah.
kiss,
Yeah.
shake hand. And when I say kiss, like I'm not saying kiss on the lips. Like I
Yeah,
think
they-
people,
kiss on the cheek.
No,
Yeah,
in fact,
yeah.
And you know
that's
what's
my
weird?
camera right there.
yeah.
Is this? Because I saw there's like this like really fit maybe Samoan girl at the gym, and I was doing legs on the hamstring curl. She come up and kissed this local brada, and I was just thinking about it. I was at the gym yesterday, and there's this. We touched cheeks.
Oh, we did it, but
where
the
you
mount
did
go
it.
all the way to the side. You guys make fun of me for that all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Like, cause my mount can go all the way over there.
And so it's I have to kiss you and be respectful, but we also respectful like germs and
Yeah.
each
And I'm
other's
not trying to kiss
spouses.
your husband.
Yeah.
Move your ring
But you know what the
all
funny
way
thing
up.
is? Can you imagine like not being local and coming here and then not knowing which way to go?
Yeah.
Because all local people go this way.
Yeah. We
You
all
go left, huh?
slip left.
Yeah, we always go this way.
Slip left.
Yeah.
How
But
come?
imagine like coming
Leave
and
us a
like, okay,
comment.
so I'm watching, they're kissing on a cheek. I go right and boom, I'm kissing
Kiss-
somebody else's
Yeah.
husband.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hey,
So
you
pro
go
tip,
left.
go left. Okay, when you come, go left.
Left.
Avoid that
Left.
awkwardness.
Left.
Yeah.
That's your right hand, left hand, no matter.
Or know what you can do to avoid? You just give like the chin way up pat. You can do
Yeah.
that because you're bringing it in. You can do that too.
I don't love it.
You know, well, because you grew up eating vana out of the ocean.
Yeah, yellow chin over there. That's getting one of these.
Yeah.
You can air kiss too. It's
Yeah,
the
yeah.
gesture
It's
of
the
of
motion
going
of
in.
it. Yeah.
So many times I go in for kiss and I like there's no contact, but we both
yeah.
kind of just
Yeah.
slip. You know,
yeah.
we both did that, and then that's okay. I know he knows the etiquette here,
Mm-hmm.
but like I'm not in Japan. I'm not, dude. First of all, I'm not even shaking hands.
Don't
like there's
touch
there's
me.
no.
Yeah. Physical.
know,
There's no
They make it so the
physicality to
doors
it.
don't have to be touched, right?
If I yeah, like
So
I
why are you gonna
guess-
shake everyone's hand when the doors just open by themselves? And
just touching in general, like
Yeah.
the most awkward hugs I've ever had is in Japan, right?
Yeah.
Because
Same. Not Japan, but
But-
my Japanese grandpa. Most
Just-
awkward hugs.
like they're going for it, but then
Yeah.
even
Yeah,
in Hawaii,
It's a hard slam.
they don't
on the
even
back.
know how to
You know?
hug.
I'm not choking on something, right?
No,
Give
it's
me
just
a-
like a slam on the back. Because instead of like a tight hug, it's just like, here, this, I really love you. So bam, like,
Hamazu!
instead of just like this, it's like, oh my God, just give me a hug.
The
Like,
Mortal Kombat
yeah,
hug.
it's really just like a samurai slap on your back.
But see, he's thinking I gotta engage in the hug. I
Yeah,
gotta
yeah.
use my hand because
Yeah.
sometimes hand placement too, like disrespect. You could
Yeah,
disrespect
like back versus
men
back.
and
Yeah,
women
yeah.
That's
reading it.
everywhere. You touch a woman's ass anywhere. That's not.
Yeah, but you
that's
know,
what-
it's not talking about your butt.
No,
We're
I was
talking
just
about
saying
like,
hand placement is crucial.
Yeah.
And so if you're being even, like we're talking about barbecues and like private life things, but even in professional situations, right? If you're going in a meeting sometimes or like you're meeting someone for lunch, whatever, there's like grades of greetings, even amongst like locals. So, like there's we all go left, but what you do with your hand, like we don't go two hands
No.
left. It's just usually
the one.
sometime like somewhere around here.
This is not
Yeah.
Roman Greco wrestling. You don't
No,
know two double
that's what I'm saying.
underhooks.
But in a way, it
Slip.
is like
Slip.
I feel like two more. Somebody got to make a skit about this.
Hey,
Yeah.
Timur, credit us.
Hey, you know what I mean? 'Cause it's there for the funny skit making. Like it's
Yeah.
there
Yeah,
because
yeah.
we struggle with it, even amongst locals. I'm talking about my experience struggling with it, like in different places. But imagine someone who moves here
Yeah.
for work who thought it was just for people surfing.
Yeah.
They have no idea, and then.
Oh,
They
now
get
I gotta hug
invited
and kiss every
somewhere.
person I like.
Wait, do we do this in the office? Do we do this every day?
Yeah, it's,
You know what I mean? Like
one of the things that inspired this are we have clients, Nathan and Casey, and they're like, "Are we gonna be okay?" Like, and I was like, and as long as you're a good person, you know, to some extent, F it. If someone's an uneducated asshole, then whatever, like who cares? But then thank you for caring and wanting to know, you know, respect the culture. And so you guys are fine. You guys are solid.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is a great conversation for them to observe as well.
And the thing is, like, you can make mistakes and still be fine. In
100%.
fact, you might come out of a mistake better than not even trying, right?
Because people see the intent.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And then it becomes like a lighthearted thing.
Yeah.
Like, the mess up is like the best part. And that's like, oh, that's my friend so-and-so who like the first time I met her, like accidentally kissed my husband on the lips because she went the wrong way, you know? And we, no, that's so-and-so. She's in love with my husband. You know, that becomes like a joke forever. You know, it's like, it's fine. Like, you know, it doesn't need to be perfect. You don't need to like hardcore assimilate.
Don't act. I feel like you would hate them forever.
No.
If they kiss Kyle.
Oh, I would punch her in the face, but
Hey, well,
but we tell a story 10 years later.
You on base, you the sushi bait girl, huh?
That's right.
You know
I'm
what I
the
mean?
girl
So-
that brought the freaking raw fish to the party, you know, like.
You know, on that giving thing, there's this Hawaiian person in my life, and they said, hey, it's like out of left field, but like, hey, in Nanakuri back in the day, they just were low on resources. And so they actually keep their head down because they weren't able to give when they greeted you because they had
Nanakuli.
nothing to give, right? It was Nanakuri.
Nana is look coolies
Down.
knees. I think it's knees.
Is that why it means
Because
that?
people looking
Kuli
down
baba,
because they don't have something to drink, or like if by the time you make it to that side of the island, it's like you're
No
parched
water,
and you want
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Nana Kuli.
And so on there are things that go really Asian and there are things that go really like Hawaiian, but then there's also, you know, Filipino and Portuguese and just all the things. But I feel like Polynesia and Asia, there's things that come from each that sometimes can be similar, like the giving.
Yeah.
What probably like the no shoes.
Well,
Probably heavier Asian.
You know, back to the wedding thing. So I've done weddings, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of weddings in both Japan and Hawaii. And so let's look at this event, ceremony that everyone knows around the world, getting married, right? And in the reception in Japan, for the reception party, the parents and the relatives sit the furthest away from the sweetheart table, the furthest away in that room from where the bride and groom,
Which
the sweetheart
is
table.
crazy. You bring
Total
100 grand,
backwards from
200
here.
grand,
Yeah.
300 grand for a wedding, and
Because
you sit away.
you're giving though.
Yeah.
You're giving
Are
the
you-
friends.
Are you giving or are you
There's
showing
two
face?
sides. There's two sides. It's enyo, right? The word I said. Like I don't even know I think when I looked it up on Google, it was restraint.
Yeah.
But it's like showing.
It's not
These are
about
my
me.
kids,
Yeah.
right? And I'm showing some restraint, and that too is that nail up gets pushed down. It's not me standing up and raising my hand. It's me kind of. I don't need to say anything. I can having restraint already. Like stereotypically speaking, Americans don't have restraint.
Yeah.
They're loud mouth. They're gonna say what they want when they want. You know, like interrupt somebody.
Freedom, liberty.
Just freedom in the name of freedom.
Liberty, individual.
Generally speaking,
Yeah.
Yeah.
we Americans don't show restraint.
Yeah.
Versus many Asian cultures that do show restraint. And in a time when it's like a ceremony, it's a wedding, we as a parents, even if we paid for this whole thing, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
We're gonna show restraint, which is a foreign concept for a lot of people. And it's the exact opposite at weddings here. The parents, we pay for this.
Yeah.
We up right in the front.
I'ma make a toast.
Excuse our
We're
table
glad
first.
you guys came.
You know what I mean? Like we
Yeah.
excuse our
Even
table first
even
to
in our
the buffet.
invitations here, right? Doesn't it say like, oh, the parents so and so are happy to present the wedding of blah blah blah? Like
Right.
they say
Do
who's
Japanese
paying for the
invitations say that?
wedding.
I mean, I can't tell you how many Catholic Filipino weddings I've been to
Oh,
in
yeah.
Hawaii.
Oh my gosh!
So many. And what?
So when they have sponsors.
Yeah, that's what I was going.
My nephew's
Sponsors.
wedding was like, I've never been to like a
Oh, all
Filipino.
the people who barato.
Yeah, pretty much.
basically.
And I'd never heard of that. And so they,
Yeah,
you know, like they were turned into whole centerpieces of like everybody who donated for the wedding. And then
they got booster time.
Yeah, it was like a booster club kind action.
But that's all Filipino, very communal.
Yeah.
Very, we got to make it together.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's beautiful too.
That's why it's like,
and it was like blowing my mind because I've never been to like a Filipino wedding. Like
you were
that
like,
before.
how could we got Core Team Hawaii on there?
I like you stand up there, say our name too. Like I'll give you $100 right now. Say your auntie, put my name on one of these.
Now a word from our sponsors.
no, there's a minimum, I guarantee.
Probably shoot, but yeah, even that was like different. Like and that's a Filipino wedding in Hawaii, you know. And on Molokai, we get plenty of Filipinos. Like it's like Manila camp is where everybody is. Like it's like a lot of Filipino
there's a part of
immigrants.
AIA called Filipino camp.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it Japanese camp in Wailua too? Like every island has that. Yeah. Every
camp.
island has like
sure,
a whatever camp. Yeah.
because it's literally probably that.
It's literally what it was.
Because it's literally where. Yeah.
This brings up too, when I was in California, there was this girl from Africa. I've told this on the channel before, but I asked her where she's from and she was like offended immediately. I'm like, no, like I wanted to, like, we probably both enjoy rice, or you like a root potato, because we get taro.
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, I want to celebrate you and learn about you. I'm curious, but in California, it was like, you're asking me where I'm from, and I'm African. Like, are you insane?
How dare you?
Yeah. It was an issue.
See, you're trying to celebrate some form of respect, right? And it's just taken the other way.
Yeah.
So subjective.
Yeah.
So I think at the end of the day, it does come down to the individual and how they deal with that.
That's another thing about culture in Hawaii and how we're so ingrained to like know exactly what we are and know what our ethnicities are and know like, you know, our grandparents are from here and like I can rattle off 7 different ethnicities that I am. My kids can say they're 13 different, and they know every one of them. And then like Kyle, I'd be like, oh, well, what are you? He's like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, what do you mean you don't know?
Yeah.
I'm like, how can you not know?
Like,
He didn't grow up.
Yeah. Because it wasn't
meeting people and being like, "What you?"
No,
what?
it's not. It wasn't important. They don't like. That's not like the thing that they focus on. It was like, oh, I think like I know my great grandma or something came from Italy, but other than that, I'm like, you don't know what your ethnicities are. Like it's wild to me.
American.
Hey, shout out.
He's like, oh, I'm a mutt. I'm like, I mean, I'm a mutt. Like, yeah.
Have you seen the this comedian? She's like Black Asian, and she's like, who in here is biracial? And the guy raised his hand, and she's like, what are you, my guy?
Oh, yeah.
You haven't seen this?
No.
Yo, what are you, my guy? And the lights are, and then he goes, I'm German, English. She goes, okay. She's like, oh yeah, you're biracial. Okay.
Yeah. And like racial identity as well. When you're when you're from here, where people are so mixed, and we don't necessarily identify as like, I'm not like, oh, I'm half Japanese, therefore I would go to the Japanese section at this diversity meeting. You know what I mean? Like, especially being local.
Yeah.
Like my brother, he literally had to go to like a diversity, like, what do you call it? Like convention sort of thing? In
California?
Yeah, for school, like for his work. And it was like, if you were mixed race, there was one for you. If you were Polynesian, there was one for you. If you were like Japanese or if you were Korean. So you go to the mixed race one and it's like, oh, maybe they're white and black, or maybe they're Hispanic and white, or whatever. Not quite it. You know, you go to Polynesian and they're like Samoan only or Tongan only. You're like, not quite it either, you know? And then you go to like the Japanese and you're like, no, that's definitely not it. So like we have like, we're such like a melting pot that our identity, our cultural identity is like very different.
They're doing diversity wrong.
Yeah. It's like this very segregated diversity.
Wasn't it? You talk about that when you went to Portland State, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, oh, wait, what?
No, because anybody went. Shout out to Portland State Vikings.
Ain't nobody. There's nobody.
That's like all 2 of you. But
leave us a comment, please.
Hey,
if you went to
Portland
State.
what's up? I think there's 20,000. I think there's like 23,000 people when I was there. So
that's a lot of people.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, but it was a commuter campus, so it wasn't like some of the bigger college campuses and stuff. But if you're walking on campus, first of all, it's Portland, Oregon. So Oregon, okay. So Portland's going to be the most diverse city in that state. That's already Oregon. So I'm thinking, oh, great. This is kind of like I see the same faces, kind of. You know what I'm saying? Like here in Hawaii.
Yeah.
But it was so segregated.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, oh, this is the stereotypes of like Family Guy the
What do you mean? I don't watch Family Guy. What is that?
Of like any kind of Comedy Central shows, you know, when they have a race joke or something. And I was like, because all the Asian guys I saw fit that kind of Asian stereotype, gel, spiky hair. You know what I mean?
This
like,
is early 2000s.
Bruh.
Well, they had this one, the hair going like this.
I was like, but more than that was they stuck together.
Yeah.
And there wasn't that much like intermingling that I'm used to. So even though I could see everybody and all the faces and colors,
they were like with themselves.
It felt so separated.
Yeah.
But that's why I play soccer too, because that brings us all together. So I said, you know, our team was like the UN because we had literally over, I think there's only like 18 or so people, but 12-ish nationalities.
Yeah.
Like Americans were the near minority on the soccer team.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So I'm like, you know, that's kind of that Oregon is where I learned how to fight homesickness. And that's tips for anybody who come to Hawaii feeling homesick, like play a sport.
Yeah.
Or find a environment or group where it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What matters is what you're doing.
Yeah.
So for me, it was soccer. Like we all here to play soccer. And I don't even have to speak. Like there are a couple of Greek guys. One guy was like, it's amazing he was still playing because he was older.
Yeah.
But you know, thick Greek accent.
Yeah.
I can't speak with him, but we had the best belly rolling. Like we were laughing because we were the medium soccer.
Yeah.
And so find a medium where race, nationality, age doesn't really matter as much as what we're doing.
Get out there.
Yeah.
For me, it's soccer.
I always tell people, like, if they're athletes and they're like, oh, they have this like dream of being in the water, I'm like, get into paddling.
I was gonna say because surfing's not it.
No, paddling is it.
The whole I'm gonna go out there and we're all doing one thing, but surfing you're not doing it together.
Yeah, no.
You're actually there's a competitiveness of like you're catching waves I could have caught, or you're in my way.
In paddling, there's a crew for everyone. You can either be you paddled since you were 5, and then you're a hammer and you win state, national championships, whatever, or you can be 45 years old paddling for the first time, and there's a crew for you with people in your same skill set.
Yeah.
So it's not even like a thing where you can plug in no matter how old or your level of experience. So it's a great way to build community. Like there's stuff like that out there. You know, where you can plug in and it's like not everybody going to be local, not everybody going to be born and raised here, not everybody going to be massively experienced at it and know how to read the ocean, and there's things to plug into.
Right.
Like if you want to, and if you want to like learn more, and that's how you learn more about just not just where you are, but like the community that you plan to build, the community that you choose to build. When you come here, you're homesick, of course, like we all get homesick when we leave. It's about building community, and you get to choose your new family out here. And that's, I feel like we have a very magical place where the chosen family is such an important thing in our culture. Like even though our blood family is very important here too, chosen family is so important here.
I never really heard chosen family. That makes sense.
Or
like, you know,
there's one of those sayings, I can't think of it, but like family is like you can't choose family, but you can choose. Or you can't choose relatives, but you can choose family. So there's something like that. And they kind of landed because I'm like, it's to me, as someone who called home to many different places in the world, I called home, and like I found it doesn't matter where I am; it matters what I'm doing with who, like and what I'm doing with, and who am I doing it with matters way more than where I'm at.
Yeah, that's so true.
Which might be counterproductive to our Hawaii real estate channel, right? Yeah. But it's true because you can be right now. If you make a list of top 3 places I do not want to live ever, I guarantee you would live there if certain conditions were met.
If you had the best community in Alaska, you could love Alaska.
And maybe you was making 5 times what you're making now in a fifth of the time, and you could bring so and so people, and like it doesn't matter where, it matters what you're doing, because you know experience is here, right? So here in a way, like it doesn't matter we're in Hawaii, but because of the history, hundreds and thousands of years before us, the people today that make up Hawaii and the landscape it does bring a unique blend of etiquette, language, food, respect. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Some of the stuff gets irritating to me, you know? And so let's not make like, you know, to people from Hawaii, if you're local, you never left proceeding your life or whatever, then maybe you feel this is the only way to be. But there's also shortcomings to the Hawaii culture at times. And so, you know, some of those things, you don't have to change who you are. You know, be respectful, but you don't necessarily have to change who you are. And there's racism here too.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Probably more. I don't know. Maybe more than other places.
Yeah. More angles it can take, right?
Yeah.
More forms it can take.
But it's like a weird passive aggressive racism a lot of the times.
You think so?
Yeah, like there's overt racism for sure, but then there's like a weird like nuance, like because you're Okinawan, that's why. You know, that kind. I was like,
you Portuguese. So
I was like, why? We're both Japanese, and then
I feel like the racism here is cloaked or covered or sprinkled with comedy and humor.
All the time. Yeah.
And it's way more out front. Like
so when I worked at Pacific Ceiling Fans, these old Japanese men would come in and they would treat me a certain way. And then, I remember the one guy, how long you work over here? 1 year, you don't know nothing. I gave him my card.
Okahashi.
Oh, Okahashi. Oh, your father Japanese? Oh, I'm going to ask for you next time when I come. And I'm like, bruh. Yeah, don't. But so that's aggressiveness. But then you mentioned the word passive aggressiveness, and the thing about respect being subjective, etc. I want to point out that, you know, some of the best people I've met are like New Yorkers, but outside of New York. You know, they're outside of that environment where they got to be, you know, on edge, and so. A Bostonian or whatever, it would be disrespectful to them, to someone from the Northeast, maybe
to not be upfront with it,
to be like, oh no, you guys can eat, then you'd be like, so I can eat, so I'm eating, it'd be like, and then be like, can you believe that guy ate after I told him he can eat,
and this guy set me up,
and then so for the person, the local like Japanese would be like, can you believe, bro? We told them they can eat. That never mean they can eat.
Yeah.
Whereas the guy from Boston's like, why don't you just tell me, bro? I'm down to Uber Eats.
Yeah.
You guys said you guys had extra. And I took the last piece because you told me I can eat.
Hawaii definitely has, and I don't know if that's like an Asian thing from when you lived in Japan. If
it's last piece?
No, not just that. But that's part of it. But just like we just don't necessarily say what we mean, or we know.
And that gets annoying.
We know the difference between, and that's the thing that's hard to learn too. It's like we know the difference between like somebody saying something that they mean and they're just
meaning something,
and meaning
saying
it
something and
versus like, oh, don't bring anything, you know. And they said that where you're like, oh, you don't bring literally everybody else brought something, and you're like,
is that passive aggressive or just confusing?
It can be perceived. Perception is reality, and so if it's perceived as passive aggressive, because it's passive aggressive or it's confusing.
Well, like imagine you're that person, right, who doesn't bring the thing, and then everybody talks shit about you after. I'm like, but that definitely felt passive aggressive to me.
Imagine like a military guy, army guy, who they said don't bring anything, and then you come, then you learn they were talking about you, like, bruh, I would have made you guys brisket. Like I would have invested 20 hours into making. Like I was down. But I thought it might be rude to overshadow, like to bring food when you said
mess
not
up the spread that you said.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so
in the mainland they'll own the spread. They're like, no.
What?
Oh, you bring something that don't match my charcuterie and my Jello pudding.
I gotta show you my friend. Island bigger than this table was a charcuterie setup, a charcuterie island.
Yeah, and the mainland it could be rude. Like, bro, we had a whole
so how dare you
Greek
bring
tapas going.
I saw you go bring a bag of Lay's chips when I have a charcuterie island. Like, yeah.
So that, I think there's some insight there with the invite thing I talked about earlier. It's like you kind of plan it. So if you say like don't bring anything, then it might literally mean don't bring anything. Or you would say, again, it's like so indirect. So Japan is super indirect. And it's that's the thing. It's indirect.
That can bother me.
So
I was
it's
born
like
in Florida. It can bother me.
Am I playing roulette here with courtesy and manners? Because I don't. I got to read between the lines, right? So there's ways of doing it where like someone invites me, hey, come over, we're having a dinner party, and I'm like, okay, first thing, what I got to bring.
What's gonna?
But I'll say I know that, but I won't say like I might just say, oh, what did you have planned? What's on the menu? What can I bring? Can I bring an app? Can I bring a main dish? Or maybe I'll just lie and say, hey, you know what? I just caught this fish or something.
Yeah.
And I wanted to make some ceviche. Could I bring some ceviche? Super specific.
Yeah.
So there's ways to like hint and do this weird indirect dance.
Where
So
when
that
in the
both- yeah.
it really should have just been, oh, my friend Kenji, he makes bomb ceviche. I'm gonna ask him for bring ceviche.
That's when I appreciate directness.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you know what? Make your ceviche. Bring your ceviche.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? Bring your sushi. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bring your sushi.
Then we can all get together. But what if I, like you said, maybe I caught a marlin or something, and I just know the perfect chef, and I have all the ingredients, so I plan something.
Yeah.
So that your brisket just fucked it up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
NSFW.
That's not even limited to Hawaii. That's just worldwide.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a worldwide thing. Like,
Yeah.
what? I
Yeah.
asked you. You said no. Now am I gonna find other indirect ways to sort of mitigate the risk here? Hey, I have a great harvest. I got 10 oranges off my tree. I was thinking of making a marmalade or, you know what I mean? You gotta get, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
For the charcuterie board.
you know
Hello.
what I'm saying? Do you have dessert?
Yeah.
Can I bring dessert?
Yeah.
Yeah. I do think it can be passive aggressive, and it can at least be confusing. The food thing's a perfect example, but it could be driving. It could be anything.
driving
The
is
not
the
saying what
worst.
you mean is tough. And
Yeah.
since we practice business in Hawaii, being direct is effective in business, and so I live most of my life direct.
Yeah. Imagine if we talk like that while doing deals.
Oh.
Like no.
No, it's okay. You whenever you guys have time.
Or
like,
so home inspection,
Yeah.
right? Nah,
J1.
no.
good job.
J1, yeah, good job.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Nah, yeah, no need to fix the plumbing.
Yeah,
You
it's
cannot
okay.
be like that in business,
No,
right?
yeah.
And I'm sure in Japan you aren't like that in business either, because that's when they put their like rigid samurai hat on, I guess. But if I observe a situation and the mainland person like didn't bring food and it was like the super Japanese kind of loco is like, oh no, and I'm not like mad at that mainland person. I want to like go step in and be like, hey, you guys set them up for failure, bro. So, and that don't mean you better either.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean you better because they don't understand.
It's like when someone, okay, that's a whole nother, adjacent topic. It's like, how do you deal with an offer? Not just like a real estate offer, but like any offer. Like
I review the 14 pages and addenda.
For business, but like private. So for example, like, hey, you want to come over? We're going to have dinner. Or maybe it's, hey, I'll pick your kids up today.
Yeah.
Like any kind of offer, the first thing, right?
No.
Restraint.
No.
Like at least 2-3 no's
Yeah.
or rejection. Even though I'm like, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Can you please pick them
That
up?
gets annoying to
Yeah.
me.
So, but then, it's like,
Bro, I get frustrated with that.
if you're in a car and I got to know because the exit's coming up, don't give me this indirect
Yeah.
dance.
Yeah.
I got to know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, I know you kind of respect me and you don't want to, you respect my time.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? So it's like,
My dad does this to me all the time. Like, oh, if you have time. I was like, I literally just asked you if you wanted to come over for
It's
dinner.
different when you, that's mother.
That's family,
That's
though.
family
That's-
guilt
Yeah.
trip. That's guilt trip.
That's not just culture.
Guilt
that's
trip is
culture.
universal. Guilt trip is universal.
father-daughter guilt trip.
Yeah,
yeah.
father-daughter
That's
guilt
the
trip.
whole thing.
If you're not too busy, I literally just said I could come get you in half an hour. Oh, if you have time, I have time. In half an hour, I'm going to have time. Let's go.
Yeah, like it could be like, oh, what restaurant do we want to pick?
Oh
So you're in
my
a group,
God.
and there's like 2 people from Texas and 2 people from Pro City or whatever, and it's like, oh, where do you guys want to go? And like,
Where do you want to go? What do you
oh,
feel
where
like?
do you want to go? And they're like, we're up to it, whatever. And they're
Yeah.
like, no, I don't know. Where you want to go? They're like, okay, well,
We going Uncle Bo's.
yeah, Uncle Bo's. And
They're
they're
like, you know what, I
geez,
don't
on
like
the
Uncle
first
Bo's.
exchange?
Yeah.
And they're like, we're eating over there. Like, can you believe that they took us to Uncle Bo's or to anywhere without 3 exchanges? I prefer a little more short. 1 exchange is good. One, oh, no. 3, you know what? I'm done. I don't even like go eat.
I'm not hungry anymore. I lost my appetite.
So the person from the mainland, it's like they're not necessarily wrong, you know. That's just what I just want to.
Yeah, there's no right or wrong. There's no right or wrong.
Yeah.
But I think just human to human,
Yeah.
we understand, like, you tried.
Yeah.
You might have messed up, but you tried. And then it's a personal thing, person to person basis, where it's like, oh, now you're gonna take that as disrespect. You're not gonna talk to me. You can talk about me with all your friends. You spread rumors. That's or like, hey, like if we on the same paddle team or same soccer team, that's kind of your get out of jail free card. It's like if we're doing something together and I make a mistake, I'm more likely to be put on game by my teammates or people who I'm already a part of the community, and then now I can operate outside of this community.
Yeah.
Over here.
Yeah.
Taking what they gave me.
Yeah.
So, play soccer.
Yeah.
Kind of battle.
Well, another example, taking care of your yard.
Oh.
Does Mr. Tanaka take super good care of his yard? What percentage is like respect for the community? Or like, I like a super nice yard and is it both? Is it 50-50? I feel like it's 50-50.
I feel like it's both, yeah.
Probably half-half, yeah.
I think...
Or like 100-100.
100.
No, it's 200. That's
it's like 100-100,
yeah. I'm signaling to my neighbors the aesthetic that I think
we should
be,
keep.
every yard.
Whereas I think about like Tyler and Jordan live in Florida. I know I've like seen his yard more, and he posts like his Halloweens and stuff. I feel like the thing there is more, I'm competing with my yard. But like in a more chest out. Don't think Mr. Tanaka not be trying to be better than you too, because he is.
Like a car.
But it's just more he would never say him,
Yeah. But he get like a very manicured bonsai tree.
Oh, you over there cut grass. He come out with scissors. Oh
yeah. He edges his yard with scissors.
He edge, But don't ever acknowledge you. Whereas like in Florida, the guy competing with his grass would be like, "Hey, Johnny.
Oh, I saw.
Better luck next week, huh?"
Actual turf already.
With Mr. Tanaka, he's not even gonna look at you, right? He's gonna be scissoring him. Go inside, then look out the window.
You know what that made me think of is aesthetic. So aesthetic, things that I've heard, not just from my Japanese wife, but other Japanese friends, is I don't know if it's a Hawaii thing or an American thing, but
being presentable.
Yeah, just like people walk out
just not
into public,
not looking put together,
like they just rolled out of bed. Like the aesthetic.
Yeah.
And
Japan, they would never wear plaid pajama pants and slippers to the store.
There are those guys anywhere you go. But just if you went to any, let's just say a city of like 30 million. The cities of 30 million, let's just say
just
1 million.
1 billion.
Just go to Tokyo. No. Because I was literally in Tokyo thinking about this.
Yeah.
And I was at Meguro Station. Okay, it's Meguro Station for those of you know. That's kind of a fashionable place. But if you go anywhere, let's just say in a city, it could be Osaka, it could be Kyoto, it could be whatever. If you just stay at like a train station or a hub and you people watch, aesthetically speaking, the level is just higher.
It's put together.
People are just more put together.
Yeah.
And I think that comes to this yard thing because you're just taking care of things in general. Yeah. Same thing with cars. My wife pointed out to me, like, there's so many
we don't have
boss
jalapenos
up
over
cars.
there.
No, you know what I mean?
My oldest brother, when he came over here, he was like, "Hey, no one drives beaters over here. All the cars are nice."
Where?
Hawaii.
Here?
Really?
Oh yeah.
From where though? Where's
the south? I mean, he's
south. So it's more beat up in the south.
He says he went to BYU, Backyard University. Okay. Like overalls and grass in his mouth, right? And so he's like, "Yeah, all the cars are so nice. Everyone washes their cars."
You're like, what?
So that halfway to Japan, geographically and culturally example, he felt like that. Now, Japan would be a different level. You get like a ticket if you got rust in your car, right?
I just, overall, care of things.
Yeah.
It comes down to care of things and items. Like, okay, here's another thing.
Do you think that their, like, care of things and items more so, like, equates to a perceived, like, I am, like, successful and put together?
No, just basic
respect for the community.
Baseline.
You shouldn't have to go out and look at my boxers.
There's a consideration part for other people. Yeah. But just baseline, even if no one sees this room.
Yeah.
The level
organization.
I would just say, like, I don't know, it's aesthetic, organization, it's a combination.
Sort of like ritual and respect for like...
I worked at elementary schools for 5 years, right? Every single day, they clean the schools.
Ever
right? So kids just grow up cleaning.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
At school, probably at home.
Yeah.
And that's just one example. But like, I think you find it where, like here, even though the environment's different, you could argue that environment in Japan is more dirty because in the winter when you got sludge and you know what I mean, you got all different seasons. You could argue that maybe
they have real snow.
You know, like they got pollen storms in April. Like that messed me up real bad. Just pollen in the air. You know, pollen on your car when you in the morning. Just they got a lot more factors. You could argue it's harder to upkeep, but the overall preservation of things and treatment of things, I think, is just on a different level. And some of that kind of permeates with the culture and the people here.
Yeah.
So, and
I
it
think
kind of overlaps.
We poor here. That's why we didn't. You gotta make that rice cooker last.
I mean, even the poor people in Japan.
Yeah.
I just felt like when it comes to things, especially food.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Japanese food.
Yeah.
The bento in
Oh,
Hawaii,
it's just so put
it looks
together,
good,
just-
right?
yeah.
That where does that come from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
that kind of appreciation for things,
Yeah.
items, not
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
But how does that affect, like, back to the local person growing up? It's ingrained because they're used to the bento with a little piece of fake grass.
Yeah,
You know, a little fake,
And one takuan.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, one slice
for
of
color.
takuan. Yeah,
Yeah.
maybe you don't eat it, but
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I pound that.
I eat the takuan.
Yeah.
How might that affect someone outsider, like from the mainland coming here? The put together, I don't know that it does.
Well, for me, like I was the outsider going to Molokai, and I
Okay.
remember like it took me a long time to like assimilate and to like for people to be my friend and talk to me, even though I literally had a brother and a sister-in-law who like was from there. But I would like go and be dressed too nice.
Oh, you sure, like you're trying to be better than
Yeah,
everyone.
and literally like people were annoyed with me for it, and I'm like, I'm like wearing like
I've experienced that here.
just
in
like
Hawaii.
a regular like shirt, you know. I was like,
Yeah.
I have mascara on today, and I remember going to this party. It was like a cop party, and one of the wives was like, "Oh, where do you think you're going? Prom?" I had like not a dress on. I had like a normal ass shirt on and like little bit makeup. She's like, "Oh, where do you think you're going? Prom?"
Yeah.
And she wasn't even like being funny with it either. Like she was
Yeah.
like for real offended that I would like
Show
dress
up.
up.
Yeah.
You know,
What was the party?
just like
Friday
a regular, just like a regular. And it was like a Christmas party.
Nah, you can dress up
Ooh,
for
that's
that.
Yeah,
this
but
is
a
important.
Christmas party at Molokai also though, right? So it was like at Oniali'i Beach Park. It wasn't like in.
Okay.
It wasn't in like the country club,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
But I was wearing jeans and
No,
a
bro,
blouse.
My
and
cousin from Kauai, I cut my toe on a rock, right? And I was just, we're walking, I was watching kids, and I try to go around rock. I cut my toe. She goes, city boy.
yeah,
Just, I
oh,
was
because
like,
you guys don't get cuts over here.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you guys
She
don't.
didn't
bleed
know how
over
to walk
here in the
around rock.
country.
And I'm like, I could have cut my, shut up, kid. But she just is like, yeah, city. That's why you're from Oahu, you
Yeah.
city. And I was like, I guess.
Yeah.
But on the dressing nice thing.
Yeah.
Interesting thing about that, think about in Puerto Rico. It's not
Oh,
Aguadilla,
yeah,
the surf
yeah,
side.
yeah.
But in San
Yeah.
Juan,
Yeah, I know.
to go to they have a saying in that Latin culture, like, I gotta wear nice underwear or something, or so in case I get hit by a bus, and then I'll look nice. There's something like that. If you're Latino or Latina, correct me. Something like that where I've heard girls say, my grandma says I have to dress nice because if I die, I gotta already be dressed nice. So they'll do like their eyebrows and go out and do all the most.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's any like it's for the community and the way they do it. They're like, no, I'm trying to look good. I think in New York, same thing. I remember one of my like a figure in my life. He was a Coast Guard chief. Shout outs to Haley Brown. But he said that he's like, yo, in New York, girls will ring you up. You're like the girls like, okay,
Oh.
what kind of like
How much does this
$100?
fit?
Yeah, how much is this fit? And he said it matters for different reasons, but they dress up a lot in these like East Coast cities and whatnot. But you go to like a Florida on the beach, it's more slippers. It's hot, right? But then Puerto Rico is hot, but they dress up, yeah, and in the city.
Yeah.
So I think in Hawaii, that's more of a Polynesian influence. It's more of or just kind of island, kind of geographic, kind of we all plantation, derived, like
Well,
descendant.
even the difference between Ward
Yeah.
and
Oh yeah. Like, I'll
Haleiwa.
dress different when I
Ward
go
and
to both
Haleiwa,
places.
that's different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we have the micro climates here
What
too.
is Ward? Give me like, what is Ward?
Ward, you're wearing a $100 minimum aloha shirt.
Yeah, you wear
I
like
think-
a Ren
no.
Spooner. Or,
I
you
mean,
know,
like
A what?
a
rain spooner.
How you say it?
Rain. I don't buy aloha shirts, as you can tell.
No, I feel like Ward. I'm thinking of like
Dress pants.
the guy's wearing Lululemon athleisure
Okay.
to walk his dog.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Probably get one.
It's still expensive.
But you can see it's like minimalist.
They work from home, so they're not. Rain Spooner is downtown Honolulu, like, you know. They're wearing like a, you know, like a $250 workout athleisure thing to work from home. But in between Zooms, they go Whole Foods, you know.
And then what is Haleiwa?
Just
No shirt,
No
no,
shirt.
no shoes, just
Surf shorts.
surf shorts, a little bit of sand on your feet all the time. Like you can go into Foodland dressed like that in Haleiwa. You cannot go to Whole Foods in Ward dressed like that.
Yeah, I wonder if you're wearing, because Alamana Beach Park is across the street. If you're wearing like bikini inside Whole Foods, are
No.
they gonna kick you out?
They're not gonna kick you out, but everybody's gonna look at you weird. Whereas if you do that on, Malama Marketplace on Haleiwa Beach
That's
Road,
how.
nobody, nobody says anything.
That's the mean. That's
Yeah.
the average. Yeah,
That's
yeah,
just the average. Yeah.
Yeah. It's I don't know but in Hawaii we don't have that Eastern, like, you gotta be super dressed up, but sort of your house and your car, the things they tickle. I don't know. We honor it maybe in a different way.
It's a grab bag here.
Yeah.
Because you have the fashionistas out there, men and women, right? And you can tell they put a lot into their fit.
Where
Yeah.
the girl at our school, where the girls
Right.
was from,
What do you mean?
who was like super dressed up.
Oh, what building?
No, or like where, like from Eva, from Renton Road.
Oh, yeah.
Super dressed up. Yeah.
See, but
Like, it's hot out here.
People
You wear
show up, though.
polyester.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you get that, but it's just on average, I feel you're gonna have so much range.
Oh yeah, like Joey, my daughter, for instance. Like when we get like, she always makes me look homeless because she always dresses like really nice, and she has like outfits that she puts together, and aesthetically and stylistically, it's like, damn, that's really well put together. And we'll go to Almana, and like we'll have people come up to her and tell her how cute she looks.
Really?
When we were in New York, like everybody looked like that. Like everybody's outfits looked like that. Like everybody, she was just like in a sea of other fashionable people, like people who like spend an hour accessorizing things and like, my eyelashes are going to be brown today because my my scarf is blah blah blah. Everywhere in New York, like everybody, there's like that crowd there. Over
That
here,
seems stressful to me.
but she loves that, and
Yeah.
it's like when we go over here, and it's like so unusual to see, and like her like little group of friends, they all dress like that, like just very fashionable,
thoughtful,
just very
intentional.
thoughtful. Like I buy her this gift card, and she's like, I know exactly the hat that I want that I've been dying to get for all year now. Let's go there right now. I'm like, what? Like
Yeah.
the hat.
You style out any kind.
Yeah, but
makes sense.
But she's different from me, like way different style, like just totally different. And it's different from like, I can wear one Aloha bag, fanny pack, and like one Mana Ola or something, like that's like, look, I'm gonna have Pua Kini earrings.
It's like a very Hawaiiana print,
and
modern.
like, like it can be
bougie.
stylish, but it's not like, oh, where did you get that leather jacket from?
Yeah.
Like not that.
Yeah, ain't nobody stopping me complimenting a fit or like, oh, where'd you get that?
Yeah, so if you like
I
really put thought into it, like people notice, like people like see it, and because
like-
it's just not the norm here to do all that.
I shave my head for that reason. Like that's one less thing to think about.
Yeah.
I'm more functional.
Yeah. In real estate, we have stories, but there's certain types of agents on island that still 3-piece suit. There's a vest and a jacket and buttons and cufflinks, and it's like, why? It's very out of place. But if I were to go to Texas and wear a Aloha shirt to a listing presentation, they might not open the door.
Right. Yeah.
Like, what the heck is this guy doing?
Yeah.
Look, it's like, it's giving Jimmy Buffett, That's what they would think, huh? But you had that experience. They told you to take off your earrings and cover
everything up,
everything.
like all the way up, turtleneck and like long sleeve. I was like, should I wear gloves as well? And but I do feel like Hawaii is more lenient on like just visually different things like tattoos and
we have a tattoo culture here is
Yeah.
strong, and that's
So-
a bit sort of tribal Polynesian, but tattoo
like I
culture is
can
strong.
be here and I'm like, oh, plenty women have lots of tattoos, and I'll go
Yeah.
to like Delaware,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like everybody in the store is looking at me,
Oh,
and
really?
yeah, because it's just like,
Yeah.
oh,
You're a heathen.
there's a girl covered in tattoos, like, whoa.
I want to see you in Delaware.
It's just me like following Amish people around, like
I know. Right?
here there's a lot of like people that look like me, and a lot of people who,
There's actually not.
no.
No.
To me, I
I
feel
know you
like
think there are.
What,
To be-
how you describe yourself?
just like brown and tattooed.
Brown tattooed,
Yeah, brown
local girl.
local
In that
tat-
sense,
yeah.
get.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
there's nobody like me. Okay.
Yeah, we know
But I'm
that.
Everybody, one of a kind.
That I think that's the big thing that I appreciate about Hawaii is, and Hawaii, a part of America, Hawaii, in contrast to Japan, is a expression.
Yeah.
Like there's way more expression
Yeah.
here than both Japan and mainland.
Really? More expression here?
I think so.
Yeah, and like accepted expression.
Yeah.
How-
Accepted
right?
expression.
Because there's still that sort of Japanese, like, don't express yourself here. Don't be an individual.
Nah,
don't be
that's-
Yeah, but we're
loud.
like, we're like
But
fourth,
this-
fifth generation now.
Yeah.
So
Maybe my mom's mom type thing, but like,
Yeah.
and today in Japan,
Yeah.
but like today, if we're talking about like where can you express the most, in my experience, let's just say Oregon, Hawaii, Japan. Hawaii's at the top
Really? Oregon, Hawaii, Japan. Hawaii's
for
not
for
Oregon.
certainly.
I mean,
I
Oregon, they got
definitely-
purple and green, yellow hair.
The
and-
Portland.
Portland's
Not-
close.
Yeah.
But Oregon,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like Portland, okay, maybe Portland is number one. Like
No,
the city.
Yeah.
That's-
I agree with you though,
yeah.
because even when I go to like someplace like Los Angeles, what you think is like a melting pot, there's definitely parts of me that I mute.
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Really?
Yeah, for sure. Like I'm a more toned down version of myself. Like
Would you just not fit in and like
just because it would be
Manawahine
too,
fit?
it would be too much like around. Like when you go and I don't know if that's an Asian thing. Where
I was
like
gonna
I'm
say the
going to like
Japanese side kicking in,
I'm like I'm
reserved.
not trying to go stand out and like be somebody who's not from here and like make a scene and be loud with it. Like if I go into your house and you guys all keep your shoes on, I guess I'm gonna keep my shoes on. Like I'm not trying to like like be different and like I'm trying to like
Match.
you
Match
match the
the
energy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I feel like I do like tone it down a little
It's
bit.
interesting because my perspective is maybe less expressive here. I do think it's more diverse, and so you see a variety of expressions. But in terms of what so
But
there's
you were
10,
like Bay Area though, right? Like
we'll say there's 10 types of expression. Just for example, there might be more, and then in Florida there's two because there's like black and white, or let's just say
Okay.
the part of Florida. Yeah, there's 2 versus 10. But then the level of expression, like your sound thing, like the up to 100, you don't see 100 over here because you'd be sticking out. Like
You're talking
a nail.
intensity.
Intensity of expression. But there are it's
Okay.
like Asian diverse, as we spoke about earlier in
Yeah.
the podcast. But and then there's some mainland and there's certainly Hawaiian
Yeah.
and Samoan, Tongan, whatever. But in
I
terms of
see-
being 100.
You could say diversity versus intensity, but like you'll see more sexually, for example, more expressions of sexuality, more expressions. The tattoo is what made me think it up. It's like more people with art tattoos versus like I'm a gang member and this is my tats,
Yeah.
like which is what it's kind of associated with in
What's the-
Japan.
Yeah.
what-
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like there's more of that, and there's more of like I might kind of want to say like a freedom to be who you are, kind of like how very specifically speaking in Oregon, like Portland, fucking city is like anything you want to express, go for it. That's super like whatever you say. If you identify as a German Shepherd, power to you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
that's go ahead and bark. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's not that,
Yeah.
but I think you will find that kind of if you feel like you're too much of an outlier, especially in Japan, then Hawaii could be that place where
I think that has to do with population density too, though, because and densely, we say mainland very vague. That's just not the best word, but we say the mainland.
You're right. There's different.
So much mainland. There's small town Iowa. You know, there's Portland. There's New York. And so the denser the population, the more you could stick out because no one cares about you in a way. Whereas Mahe said she went to Molokai and just put on mascara. and they were throwing shade at her, right? And so Oahu is pretty densely populated for the land mass. True. And so you could be weird and it'd be okay. Whereas like Big Island, if it's not the right type of expression, such as more Mahe looking vibes or whatever, but if you want it to be a little bit more weird Big Island, they might punch you in the face, you know, who knows? You might get false.
Good point. I think, it's correlated to density.
Yeah.
How much people, because Portland is the most densely populated part of Oregon.
Yeah.
So that's where you can be.
Probably in the middle of Rome used to be like that, right? But if you go on the countryside, they'd be like, what are you?
Right.
And like shoot you with an arrow or something. I don't know. A javelin.
Sorry, I spit at you.
Like a javelin or something. I don't know.
Do you think, that's another thing. Do you think that local people who grew up in Hawaii are more apt at being social chameleons and being able to match energy better than people other places?
No, yes and no.
What was that?
No, yes and no. Because they will agree with you even when they disagree.
Mm-hmm.
The passive aggressive sort of Japanese confusing whatever you want to call it, passive confusion. They'll agree with you, but they like, let's say there's some intense, like if it's intense and it's standing out, they're less likely to match that. If it's subdued or maybe melancholy or whatever, oh yeah. No, for real, yeah. No, yeah, for real, yeah. They'll match that, but they're not gonna go up to loud and standing out and embarrass themselves. Whereas mainland, they might be like, "Hey, how's it? I'm John," and then oh, I'm Doug. But you want to drink? Boom! And then they'll be like, "Let's do it!"
Yeah.
Like you're not gonna.
I agree with intensity. Way more intense. Mainland, continent. Way more intense than all three, Hawaii, Japan, mainland.
Yeah.
Way more intense.
There's room for intensity. Not that everyone is intense, but there's just room for that.
Japanese with the craft, you can't match when it comes to like putting in work.
Commitment?
You know what I'm saying? Like,
oh no, yeah, like dedication.
Yeah.
Apprenticeship.
Yeah.
A guild.
Yeah.
Japan is number one in the world probably for that.
And that is a criticism of Hawaii that I do hear from people from Japan. Is like
they don't take stuff serious.
Not as intense. Or a mix of like people claiming, like you can say, oh, I play tennis, but you just went to 2 introductory classes. You don't play tennis.
You are not about this life.
But you say like,
I played tennis.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You've played. You are in your year 2 of tennis.
No. Let me point something out. You would be very good at tennis and say, oh no, I don't play tennis.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't exactly.
I don't play tennis.
Oh, no.
Well, meanwhile, you're the Tiger Woods or you're the Venus Williams of tennis.
Yeah.
But you won't
That's
say
Japan.
It. Yeah. So the intensity is like, it doesn't come out in words and out front.
Oh, that's intense.
Out front. But like, if you watch me, you're like, damn.
Whereas in Texas, we'll be like, do you do pickleball? Because I do pickleball. You don't want to smoke, bro.
Yeah. And then I'll watch you play and like, bro, you're mid.
Yeah.
But that was, I almost wanted to tell Daniel that, Garmin.
Oh, yeah.
Because I was like, hey, who wants to play chess or whatever? And he's way better than me. And I was to tell him, like, hey, I was just being funny and trying to solicit like people to play with.
Yeah.
I no way do I think I'm good like you.
So your words were intense.
Yeah.
And his maybe weren't. But then he smashed you.
He destroys me in chess.
So then,
he beats me so decidedly.
That thing. It's like in Japanese, there's words for it, but it's what you show and what you keep.
Yeah.
So what I show in Japan is intensity level very, very low.
Yeah.
But what I do, you can't mess with me.
Yeah.
Where it's kind of flipped, it's like in American style, it's like I'm gonna be loud and say, let's play chess.
But then you ask me a follow-up question. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But really though,
the horse, I moved the horse like an L. Yeah, so I don't think, to answer your question, were Hawaii people more willing to accommodate and agree? Yes.
Yeah.
But match your energy,
maybe that's just a me thing. Like growing up, my family used to say that was my spiritual gift, was that like I could talk to anybody and like get along with them and like find a commonality and like match myself to them and like could be like, that's why I did well in tourism, because Tera, I can like the boys, you know, the boys that work for me, I can be like, hey, I told you not do that kind or whatever. But then, you know, here comes multi-billionaire and I'm just like, hello, sir. Like,
no,
there's a code switch.
You're always interesting because you are both Vana on the chin, you know, sea urchin on the chin, and like potato salad with raisin.
Ew! How dare you say that to me?
Charcuterie board then.
That's
okay.
fine.
Charcuterie
there
board.
we go.
Mahi's actually super picky with food and things like that.
I'm not. I eat uni out of a Ziploc bag.
No, because it belongs in Ziploc bags.
Maybe.
If I put uni, sea urchin, on the charcuterie board or like on the wrong...
No.
Why the hell would you do that?
You wouldn't eat it, right?
Would you eat that?
I would eat it.
Yeah,
because I'm not you though. You know what I mean? Like,
ew,
you know what I mean?
ew.
Yeah.
Gross.
Code switches.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do you think that Hawaii people match energy better or more?
I do, but only certain kinds.
That's what I'm saying.
Because like we like just talk about hospitality in Hawaii and how ingrained hospitality in that industry is in our families and most of our, you know, most of our families.
What, my dad is a beach boy.
Most of our families, that's where we work, and our economy is based around it. So we have a code switch naturally to where, because so many of us, like, we know, hey, we kind of act like that around mom's boss, or like, hey, you know, when we go to mom's work, we kind of act like that. We know how to turn it on and off. And like, we know how to, like, if we're around a bunch of people who are dressed really nice and they don't look like they're from here, but they look important, like, I'm going to speak differently. I'm going to move differently. I'm going to act differently. So I feel like Hawaii people, like,
I feel like you can get smoke on the gram for that one.
Because there's some hints of power differences there.
But I mean, you know it's true. Like, when I go to work at the resort and when my clientele is not in front of me, I'm different. I'm different.
Yeah. But also, it's okay to be that. Whether you're black or white or anything in between, or you can be aggressively a thing. But the reason why, even me and Rick, like, you guys know, I'm say some wild stuff when the camera's not on. I don't do that in a real estate transaction. Yeah. So there's some level, because I picture a person, bro, I'm not conforming to them. Yeah. I act like how I act. It's like, well, you probably also not closing deals, Hawaiian. Like, it's okay to be professional and have some etiquette, right? Yeah. It doesn't mean you're selling out. Yeah. I mean, there's levels, right? There's nuance, but.
Oh, I mean, it doesn't matter. We're going to get accused of being sellouts no matter what we do anyway. So.
Too late.
It's too late.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. Well, that was a good PS, Hanaho, to the podcast. Yeah.
Code switch.
Hanaho. That's another one. Hanaho's. On the mainland, sometimes there's encore.
Oh, yeah.
But
they don't always do it either.
I did the concert.
Oh, yeah.
I'm done. I did my set. There's no Hanaho.
Who did we see? We like watched somebody.
You don't realize that?
I didn't even think about that.
No. You think like Kendrick does his concert?
If we did Hana, well, first of all, they're not going to know what you're saying.
Hanaho.
Yeah.
Kendrick. Hanaho. But it's just like, I did my set. You paid for the amount of time. It's very... It's very like, I brought my ribeye, we're going to cook it, and then I'll eat my ribeye.
Yeah.
It's really, we did our set. Set's Paul. Set's finished.
I forget who we saw, but like, they didn't do, like, everybody in the crowd was saying Hanaho and they never came back out.
Wait. Like, is that like a not Hawaii artist performing in Hawaii?
Yeah, just like a not Hawaii artist performing in Hawaii.
Teddy Swims?
No.
Do you want a name drop or no?
No.
But anyways, like in Hawaii, they'll intentionally end the concert.
But save a set. Save a small
that's
set.
That's that passive aggressive.
That is.
That's a version. I love the Hanaho, but it's like they ended 2 songs earlier.
And how angry we get in Hawaii if they don't Hanaho.
If they don't come
out. Like, the audacity. Mary, they already put on a whole 2-hour performance. Are you like, you're not going to sing one more song for me?
Yeah.
So I went and saw Common Kings, right? And they Hanaho'd. And then when they came back out, they're like, ain't no way you did that on the fly.
No, they had a whole
because Common
set.
Kings put on the lights.
No. It's planned.
A 10-minute of modulating into multiple songs, and I'm like,
is that like encore, right?
Yeah.
So what is a Hanaho in the main or not Hawaii? Like, what do you say encore?
Encore.
Does the crowd scream encore?
I don't know if they scream encore,
That's more.
but
They don't
more
even-
that's
like
what it's
like
called.
A play, like at the
A play?
like at. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, we don't.
Encore, I think, is a little more like these days reserved for like a more like you went to see, Manhattan play or
Or like
the
a
opera
pianist.
or pianist or something
Oh,
like
and they
that.
come and play one.
Pianist, as Aiden would
A
say.
pianist.
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 That's what Aiden.
That's what they're called, isn't it?
Flautist. Not pianist. It's pianist.
No, yes, that's what they're called.
I know. I was
Yeah.
just correcting Kenji.
Yeah, because I said pianist
Oh,
first.
you did.
You just assume I'm wrong.
Yes, I was like, no, that's how you say that.
So there's because
Hanaho is passive
Hanaho
aggressive.
is a manifestation of passive aggression.
Is Hanaho passive aggressive? That could be like the tagline right there.
I know, right?
Is Hanaho passive aggressive?
They're
Like cultural nuances in
Like,
Hawaii.
give us more.
Yeah.
We paid for our tickets, and you finish your set.
I feel like the Hanaho
No,
is
no,
one
no,
of the
the
most
Hana-
aggressive things.
No,
that
but
we
the
have
Hanaho
here.
is celebrate. The Hanaho itself.
Yeah, it's like you're
the crowd,
amazing and we
Yeah,
love
yeah.
you.
celebratory.
Yeah.
We love you. You're
Yeah.
amazing. I'm gonna finish 3 songs early as like a ritual, a cultural thing, so that you can Hanaho me. That's
Yeah.
the more not passive aggressive is not the right word, but you know what I mean. Like
Oh, you mean from the performer side?
it's
of things.
manufactured, from the performance side. It's built in.
It's like a built-in
You know,
I
like
see.
the no. I know it's my
Yeah.
turn to pay, but
Yeah,
you
yeah.
go no.
Yeah, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
The finished 3 songs early by the performer. That's the no.
Tell me that. When you local over here and you're at a concert or something, you have like a song that you hope they don't play because you hope that's the Hanaho.
Gotta
song.
be
Yeah.
like I know they never played
I know,
that.
yeah.
How come they didn't play? Oh, that's Hanaho.
'Cause you know
you're gonna
that's-
save that for the
yeah.
Hanaho. That's
They better
why.
play it again.
Yeah, you better.
During the Hanaho.
It's like, why you
Or-
guys sing this? Like, this would have been perfect for the Hanaho.
Nowadays, I'm wondering what they got prepared for the Hanaho. Right? It's like they might, tie in some old '70s stuff back into the modern to the one of their new original. This is a new original for the Hanaho. That's risky though.
yeah. No.
That thing better hit.
No.
I feel
Nobody-
like Hanaho gotta be
A
the
classic that we can
the
all
one
know.
that everybody knows.
We gotta know it. Yeah.
Yeah.
How
Or
dare
what?
you.
You bringing out one guest or
No,
something?
no. You put your original music in the middle of your set
right,
because
right,
we
right.
didn't come here for that.
Yeah. I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah, a guest for Hanaho.
I don't know, I just threw that
audacious,
out
too.
there.
Unless it's
No, but like,
no, you know what? The guest for like Alan Stone's Hanaho was he brought the guy from the Green.
see,
And I was like,
like
that's
a,
major.
like an unforeseen collab.
Yeah.
No, but see,
You know?
if he was like, because we all friends in the music industry, like the guy from the Green, that's not me, by the way.
Yeah.
Also, he's not in the Green.
I'm not in the
guys.
Green.
Yeah.
Like, he was backstairs cruising, drinking, and then he would come out, strap up on guitar real quick. But then when the guy already get like on
He
vest
planned it.
on with
Yeah,
a
yeah.
cable.
I just was here. I just stopped by.
Hanaho. Okay. Okay, let's get out of here. Okay.